35 Edgy Teenager Stories, according to Reddit. Number 35. Where do I even begin? Between getting the bomb squad called to my house, not sure what type of law enforcement, but the time the dudes with assault rifles and full body armor running through my house, almost dying on a weekly basis, getting arrested as a freshman in high school, getting caught trying to steal an industrial-sized swimming pool from Walmart, I could go on. I think the dumbest thing I've done as a teenager was getting my best friend's initials branded on my ass using a metal coat hanger. My ass check got infected, and the infection spread to my bloodstream, and having to be checked into a hospital. I don't know. I had a very interesting childhood. The BAM Squad. Oh my god, this idiot's gonna fucking make a story about every time. Well, this is his time to shine. The Bomb Squad isn't quite as exciting as it sounds. When I was about a freshman in high school, we learned how to make little household bombs using water bottles, aluminum foil, and toilet bowl cleaner. Mix the two in the bottle, tighten the lid, and launch that sucker, and it makes a pretty loud noise. Pretty much sounds like a gunshot. One day, we realized the neighbors behind me had moved out and the house was empty. We hopped the fence, discovered we could enter the house, and explored a little bit. I'm pretty sure we went in there with the intention of setting off some of the little bombs in there. For whatever reason, I wasn't exactly in the mood for destroying someone else's personal property, so I went back to my house and left my friends to do whatever. Cue forward a few hours, and later, I hear a loud knock on my door. My dad answers the door, and it's the Bomb Squad. And they had 5 or 6 of my friends all sitting down on the ground outside, and they make me join them. So there we are, about 7 kids all lined up, just sitting on the sidewalk. All the parents are called, and when they arrive, they hear the story. All the parents hate me. All the parents leave with the kids, and the Bomb Squad come in to speak with me and my dad. So I'm sitting there alone with my father, talking to the Bomb Squad at about 15 years old, flippin' scared out of my mind, because even though I figured I was fine because I didn't do it with them. What? No, flippin' scared, out of my mind, even though I figured I was fine because I didn't do it with them. Apparently, my friends went to the second story of my neighbor's house and were throwing the bombs we'd made down at some young children's playing and riding their bikes around. Fucking idiots. So there I am trying to convince them that I had nothing to do with it, that I didn't even go with them into the house, nor did I supply them with anything. While this is going on, I look behind the Bomb Squad officer, and up on my cabinets, I can see all the bomb-making ingredients clear as day. I thought I was so fucked. So I talked my way through it, kept their attention away from the obvious supplies. To make a long story short, they just left, and nothing ever came up except for a few of my buddies having to do community servers. I completely got away with it. Even with those meddling kids, Stripes. Wow, he did it.
What a nice writing prompt.
Yeah, what an edgy story, you know. Yeah, so I'm an edgy kid. You know, I almost got arrested one time. What happened? Well, a couple of my friends got in trouble for doing something that I actually didn't do. So, you know, they got in trouble and I didn't. That's a great story. That's a great story. Thank you. That's not a waste of my time. Anyway, getting arrested. Ah, yes. This is one of my least favorite stories. Look how long it is. It's his least favorite, though. Not because I got arrested or what came with that, but because the stupid teacher that I hated at school won and I lost. And that's all I cared about. When I started my freshman year of high school, my best friend moved on the 8th grade. Okay. Since he was still in elementary school, he got out about an hour after I did. Every day after school, I would hang out, then come and get him from our elementary school. I'd walk on campus, finish the class, and off we went to do our hoodlum things. One day was unlike the rest. I went to pick up my friend, and as I did so, we took a little longer than usual. Not doing anything bad, just standing around, hanging out, and catching up with some old friends that I haven't seen in a while. This teacher, who surprisingly liked me back in the day, walked up to us and told us that we had to leave immediately because I didn't attend that school anymore. Cool, no problems, I understand, and started walking off campus. Well, we were at the most southwestern corner, and my house was northeast, so what did we do? Our route wasn't exactly the quickest way off campus, but at least our destination was off campus, right? Well, that was my thinking, and I was wrong. As we were about to exit the campus grounds, the teacher sees us again, and boy is she pissed. She starts yelling and flailing her arms around. I try to calm her down by explaining to her that we took a direct path off campus. It's just that we had to cut through the school because I lived in this direction, and it was quicker for us. She continues yelling, ranting, and raving, and I was having none of that, so we just kept walking. A few minutes later, I'm walking down the road, and a cop car pulls up. The officer gets out, looks at me, and goes, "Hey, are you this person?" I'm like, "Yeah," totally not understanding what the hell was going on. He tells me I'm under arrest, checks me for drugs, weapons, alcohol, you know the biz. I leave my backpack with my friend and off we go. I stared out the window of the cop car as I left my friend, just standing there, staring at the car as we drove off in the distance. I got locked up in the concrete room with concrete floors, walls, bed, and they took my shoes, and the room was cold as hell. I don't fucking know. I didn't know what to do, so I just laid down on the bed and fell asleep for 4 hours. Turns out the teacher told the police, that the school had a restraining order on me, which they most definitely did not. Nothing exciting happens from here, so I'll fast forward to court. I'm standing there in court, and it was the strangest thing I've ever experienced while in court. There is no judge. All there is a panel of young kids, all in which look younger than I am. It was really fucking weird. I told them the story like, you know, hey, look guys, all I did was pick up my friend from school. I did nothing wrong. Didn't cause a scene, no destruction of property, blah, blah, blah. This isn't even a restraining order or anything. Well, fuck these kids because they gave me 4 hours of community service. Not too bad, but the community service was to serve on the panel with them, which was pretty cool because I got to hear the stories of other young kids in trouble. Is this real life? What kind of kangaroo bullshit am I reading? Like, I thought this was gonna, like, you know, I thought we'd get to the end and be like, you know, I opened the door and got on the floor and everybody walked the dinosaur type bullshit. But this really happened? There was no court? You mean this bitch didn't get in trouble for lying and getting you incarcerated? Like, all you were doing was basically walking to your house.
This feels like an episode of Wonder Years.
And then the woman lied. You know what I mean? This must have happened back in the day, because the amount of attention people could get into for this kind of shit. In high school, for whatever, I had the bright idea of getting my best friend's initials tattooed on my ass. I think it was during my Jackass watching days. There you go. There you go.
Well, that's kind of dated him, don't you think?
Yeah. Johnny Knoxville, though, man. So one night I decided to do it, got drunk off some whiskey, and pursued what would later be a pretty big regret. But in the end, totally worth it. I got a metal clothes hanger and bent it in a way so that there was just one flat side. Best friend's initials were AMK. So only one straight line was needed to make all of the letters. Okay. Unfortunately, this meant that I had to get branded 10 different times for all of the lines. Oh boy. I make a fire in my backyard and let the clothes hanger just kind of roast in the flame. When I was finally ready, I pulled down my pants and it wasn't exactly successful. or as successful as I thought it was going to doing. Oh, B. Sorry, I jumped down a line. It hurt like hell with each initial branding, and when it came time to do the M, my friend really sucked at doing the M. It had to be redone 3 or 4 times. I cleaned the new art piece on my ass and called it a night. The branding ended up getting really infected and was being a little shit when it came to healing. Well, my underwear was constantly getting healed with the wound, so whenever I tried to take them off, it would pretty much rip off any scabbing and almost constantly stayed at a state of being a fresh wound. It sucked. I normally couldn't even sit down normally. Damn, did my brain put normally ahead in the sentence?
So wait, it scabbed over the underwear?
No, he's saying that basically every time he tried to take the underwear off, it'd be some bullshit. And like a lot of tattoos, they basically just need the open air to do what they do. Because a tattoo is essentially a scab, Stripes. So unless it like scabs over and like does what it needs to do properly, that shit ain't gonna work. So if you get a tattoo that's under clothing, you know what I mean? And you're constantly taking the clothes off and putting the clothes on, taking the clothes off, you know what I mean? It's not gonna, I want to say, become an okay tattoo as quickly as it would be if it was unbothered. Where the hell am I? Couldn't even sit down normally, and I had to always sit in an angle. I even went camping like this, and being out in the middle of the night in a tent while you can't really put your ass on anything was such a wonderful experience. What? Fast forward like a week, and I'm getting really sick from the infection spreading in my bloodstream. I laid on my couch for 1 to 2 weeks, hardly able to eat or drink anything. Eating and drinking just felt like I was swallowing glass. All the while of this 1 to 2 week period, a friend of mine and my dad were both giving me medication. I didn't know this at the time because I didn't know it was even a thing, but the other medication was making me more and more sick. I ended up in the hospital, but made it out all right. Still got the initials on this sweet ass to this day. 100% worth it. They better still be friends, man. That's the real question. That is the real question. Let me see if I can load comments today. It's actually working. For the love of God, please explain these stories. People were asking him to explain. I'll explain, y'all. That was only 1. Can you believe this? Number 35. Jesus. I know, but that was, technically only 1 of the numbers that I'm descending to reach where I'm going.
I'm sure
Number.
This guy is still friends with the guy with the initials.
Yeah,
This probably happened like 4 months ago.
We can only hope. Number 34. Florida teenager filming himself driving like an idiot gets into a car accident involving 4 other vehicles. Is that the one that had the video? That's my new favorite genre of video.
Really?
And I don't care who knows it, dude, is when people have the selfie stick in the car and it's looking at their perspective while they're just like, can you believe I'm so awesome too? Oh my God. And then the car flips. That is my favorite. And if you have videos like that, please send me your links, because I'm going to make a compilation video. And I'm going to be like, hey guys, it's your new favorite genre video coming in at number 5. And then it's going to be some girl just like, oh, I'm going to put on my makeup. Oh my God. And then the car just barrel rolls, you know what I'm talking about? It may be kind of morbid, but I don't care.
Wait, do you think you could put makeup at the end of that stick and then put it on? Like a clamp?
I don't know what Stripes is talking about as usual, and we're only 1 in. Number 34. Florida teenager filming himself driving like an idiot gets into a car accident involving 4 other vehicles. He's seriously injured, and while in the hospital, he uploads the video of him crashing to YouTube, which helps police arrest him for reckless driving. And a response reads, that sounds like the one who went 100 miles per hour just to say that she was going 100 miles per hour on Snapchat, and followed by another Snapchat of her in the hospital saying, lucky to be alive. Classic.
Maybe that's a good companion. What are they called? Snapchat? What's the What's the shorthand for it?
What's the shorthand for Snapchat? What do you mean?
I guess it'd just be a snap, the same way a tweet would be just a tweet.
Yeah, it's a snap, yeah. Anyway, number 33? Sounds about right. Honestly, there was a lot. In the summer of 2008, my best friend hung herself and I fell in with a bad crowd. Not everyone was bad, but most were dumb as hell, and we went through a lot of shenanigans. Okay. Went through a lot, maybe, I don't care. I'll go with what I think was the funniest though. One day I was hanging out with my ex, Alec, and our friends Lyle, Kate, Cara, Joe, and Bill. Nigga, my mom had just left to go to lunch with my grandpa and his bridge club, 3 sweet old ladies. So us idiot teens had the house to ourselves. Shortly after they left, the boys of the group decide to prance around in only their boxers. The girls, myself included, decided to only wear our bras and undies. The boys didn't want to be outdone, so they raided my sister's room, who wasn't home at the time, and came out only wearing women's thongs. Ew? Ew. Women's thongs don't do anything to cover male genitalia, in case you were wondering. I love that it's an explanation for thongs for other teenagers.
Do they just, pop out?
Over the next hour, more teenage idiocy ensues, such as jumping mostly naked in broad daylight on my trampoline and mid-air tickle fights. Even though nothing sexual happened, I saw more testicles than I have in my entire life that day. Nothing sexual happened. What? Look, eventually we relocated to my living room and started playing Rock Band in our skivvies. Shortly thereafter, my mom, grandpa, and his bridge club walk in through the front door to see all those bare butts in their teen glory. My friend Lyle was standing and playing guitar, and he noticed her and said, "Hi, Libby's mom," and went straight back to playing. They then realized how exposed he was and covered his junk with the guitar. Then everyone scrambled to cover themselves, and my ex was kind enough to cover himself with me. I was so embarrassed that I started laughing uncontrollably and was quickly purple in the face. My grandpa and his bridge club quickly left, and I put on some clothes to apologize to my mom. All she had to say about the incident was, "You better be glad it wasn't happy hour at the senior center." Meaning, like, you know, if they'd been drunk, it'd probably go way different.
What? The old people would have yelled at them? This isn't an edgy story. This is a Scooby-Doo adventure. I
mean, these niggas are stupid. So, I mean, as far as they're concerned, it's probably the edgiest thing in the world. Number 32. I hurt myself with a stapler on a dare. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody else said, I did that like last week. This is a teenage thread, man.
Well, there you go. This is
number
conjugate.
Number 30, conjugate. I love it. I love you, Stripes.
I know you do.
No, I don't. Get out of here. Get out of it. Don't. Get away from me. Get away from me. Get away from me. I hate you. I'll end you. Yeah, I'm gonna stapler you. Number 31. Oh, please, Stripes. Stripes like went away. 31. Stole a car whilst extremely intoxicated, then proceeded to play bumper cars, trying to get it out of the car park. I wrecked 5 cars and got arrested for aggravated vehicle taking, drunk driving, and criminal damage. I was extremely lucky not to get a prison sentence. Dude. Let me guess, you are not black. Somebody else said, is anyone here?
Oh.
Somebody said, considering one of the top answers was a fight at a Lord of the Rings premiere, probably not. Dude, we've got to get up to that Lord of the Rings one. That's good stuff.
They gave it away.
I don't care. I'm still eager to see it. Unless it's just like, I got into a fight at the Lord of the Rings premiere. Then yeah, they did ruin it. But I like to think that story is going to get fleshed out. But dude, this is probably the legit edgiest thing in this freaking post is some guy steals a car, drunk, and then bumper cars in a parking lot. That's pretty legit. Number 30, shoplifting. Got caught when I was 17, and it scared the shit out of me. Haven't even thought of doing it since. Also DXM. Pretty sure it fucked me up for life. You damn right, baby.
Did you ever drink as a teenager?
I drank, all the time, and I still do. What's the big deal? Even though I don't really drink, though, I guess. Number 29, shooting up heroin. And continuing to shoot up heroin until I couldn't stop on my own. Edit. Thank you so much, everyone, for the kind words of support. I guess, people are saying that, hey, since he doesn't shoot up heroin anymore, this is the good thing. And that's good. You know what I'm talking about, Stripes?
I don't know much about heroin, but I'm glad he's not on it.
You're glad he's not on heroin?
But I'm not gonna pat him in the back for it either.
I'm trying to... Sorry, I had to do something like with my throat that may or may not have been what people wanted to hear. So, I just took care of it with the microphone. You got a problem with that? You know my email address. Let's fight online, and we can go from there. So don't shoot up heroin, kids, because I guess that's honestly probably the edgiest thing in here. Am I wrong, Stripes?
I thought bumper cars was...
I mean, stealing a car drunk and then running into a lot of cars on the parking lot is probably pretty edgy, but heroin is just terrible. So on a scale from 1 to edgy, which one's closer? Shooting up heroin?
Well, if it doesn't have like a story accompanied to it besides the fact that you're high on heroin, I'm not sure.
So I guess it doesn't get Stripes points for not having a story with it. In your face, not enough heroin story. Place. Okay, so that was 29, right?
I hope so.
This is 28. I grew up when Jackass were in their peak, and as a kid at the time, I tried recreating their stunts. Have a guess which one? Yep, the toy car up the butt. Do you know how I know you're gay? Oh my god.
That's pretty good.
27. Got pissed up at a party and danced on the dude's car that was being a cunt to the chick that I liked. Oh boy, he needed a new roof and bonnet repair. £2,000 as a 16-year-old was a lot of money. Wait, so he was forced to pay it, I guess? £2,000 as an adult is a lot of money. $3,262 is a lot of money. Wait, so this is the conversion, I'm guessing. Yeah. That's even more money than £2,000, even though it's the direct conversion, Stripes. Because American money is real money.
Well, what year was this made? Because pretty much pounds are just as only a little bit more than American dollars now.
Man, I think it's like now conversion though, as opposed to this was only this is only 20 hours old.
Well, then never mind.
Damn, I thought this was like an old post. 26 though. What happened? Ontario teenager throws a massive party inside his parents' still under construction 5,000 square foot home, which led to $70,000 worth of damage. How the fuck? Why would he throw a party in a still under construction home? How would he even have access to that? Shouldn't they be staying somewhere else? Were they like living in the... Somebody says, considering a 5,000 square foot home in Ontario would cost about $350 million, they probably puked on a single square foot of it. And that math checks out. This guy. Number 24. I paintballed a cop car and the cop himself when I was 14 or 15. Then I thought I could outrun him and outsmart him. by hiding in a fairly small marsh with a secret area to hide in. Oh, that's so cute. That's like quintessentially teenage, though. That's pretty good.
Well, yeah, it's believable.
It's not what, you don't believe the other ones?
Man, let's not get into it.
I guess it's true. The guy with the initials on his ass should have posted a picture. Am I wrong?
You should have.
Edit. Okay.
And then it has to say, well, yesterday you were reading a TIFU.
What?
A TIFU where the guy was like stuck in his office and he posted a little letter that said TIFU, read it?
Well, it wasn't about the letter. He was showing that the door was wrecked.
I know.
I mean, it could have just been a wrecked door that he used to, I want to say, compliment the story. But who knows, man. Here's the guy hitting us with the full story. I was a little shit when I was 13 to 16, and there was a park across from my house with a big ass hill at the bottom of it. Maybe 100 yards out was this shitty little marsh with a small area my friend and I had kind of dug out and covered the ground so you could hide out. I had just gotten one of those Walmart brand paintball kits and a bunch of paint and had the great idea of shooting cars. So here I am, top of the hill, and a cop car comes rolling by. And the parks by the sidewalk. Wait, what? So here I am, top of the hill, and a cop car comes rolling by and parks by the sidewalk to eat or do paperwork or something. So I fired off a bunch of balls. Hit the car a few times. The cop gets out and yells at me. So I shoot some more. I hit him once or twice and took off down the hill, not knowing the cop was a fucking beast. He made it up the hill before I was all the way down, so I took off towards the little hideout that smelled like asshole and poor choices. I made it into my little spot and started giggling because I was so clever, only to have a pissed off cop stomping by shortly after I thought I was safe. He picked me up by my shirt, yelled at me that he was going to shit on my life, and hauled me off to his car. My mom picked up from booking a couple of hours later. My mom picked me up from booking a couple of hours later, and I had to wash his car and apologize to the guy, who ended up giving me my first ticket a couple of years later for speeding and not signaling during a turn. Small world. Yelled at that and he was going to shit on my life. This is the best thing ever. Number 21? Drive drunk and or stoned. I regret that so much. I definitely wasn't bright in high school, and I would even hotbox while driving. Now I'm 29, quit weed 4 to 5 years ago, and I hate to drive even if I drank just 1 or 2 beers, and always make sure I have designated driver if I am going to drink while the games are at the bar. Even have 3 business cards to 3 different taxi companies in my wallet just in case my designated driver can't drive or pick me up. Play it safe and drink maturely, responsibly. I like that they gilded this guy for his responsibility. I passed my driving test stoned, and then thought of driving whilst high now makes me feel sick. The dumbest thing is I actually thought I was cool for doing it back then. That's embarrassing to admit. Hilarious. Believe that the guy would trim my full rune when I traded him it. I don't get that one. I believe that the guy would trim my full rune when I traded him in. Trim? I think this is like a RuneScape reference. So if you guys played RuneScape as teenagers, then I guess it makes sense to you. But I didn't play RuneScape as a teenager, so it doesn't make sense to me. I'm once again left out. Number 20, I hotboxed my closet and mom walked in to me masturbating with a bag of Doritos next to me. well, man, that's her image of you for the rest of your life. Your definition of a hot box is different than most people's. I'd say, oh, well, we don't know. Well, I don't know if he was smoking weed and masturbating and eating Doritos, or if he was just jacking off and eating Doritos, because I guess it'd become a hot box both ways. But you know, somebody asked Gosh, was he shocked about the Doritos? I have thoroughly lost count of these. Insult and shout at my parents on a daily basis, and I took all of my anger and teenage angst out on them. I'm surprised they didn't throw me out or murder me in my sleep. I've been making it up to them for years now. What, like, that's adorable. This is the most innocent one in here. A reply reads, you were probably giving them horrible flashbacks, and that's why they didn't kill you, because they knew it was a playback for what they put their parents through. Man, you guys gotta understand, man, as people grow up, the kids probably get less and less edgy, or more and more edgy. You get what I'm saying? Like, the shit that you guys have access to now, and that we had access to compared to our parents, and that the kids will have access to compared to us, nothing. And it's because of that hockey puck, man. These kids will have seen it all by the time that we were just learning shit when we were younger, which is why it's always so unfair to hold them to standards that you don't know shit about. And again, most people over a certain age refuse to Google something if they don't know it, so they'll live their life and die not understanding things. And it's because they make that choice. They make the conscious effort to stay in the dark. So, the end, really. The end. Insult when shouted at my parents. You better suck it, Mom. I want my apple juice now. God, I'll need to find that video later. I think it was like chocolate milk. Xbox Live chocolate milk. Found it already? Damn.
No, I'm getting some my class to you. No, you're not. I have to. Damn, look out now! Take a camera. Stop playing that! Why? I need it up. No, I have to.
No, I'll put this link in the description here. You guys should definitely watch it after this. Doesn't get any better than the chocolate milk. I don't know where the hell I am anymore. Women of Reddit. Oh my god. You know which one I was gonna read before this one? I think it was gonna be like the most satisfying like denials, or like the most satisfying no that you've ever given. So hopefully that'll be a good list to read later, because right now I don't see it happening. I really don't. I don't know which one this is. 19. Teens accidentally ride a flaming sofa through the old guy's fence. A flaming sofa? How on fire is it if you guys were on it? Me and a couple of buddies were bored one weekend, so we decided to go browse the thrift store. We walked around checking out all the weird shit people were trying to sell when we came across this disgusting sofa. It was $20 and probably overpriced, and we made crude jokes guessing at how a couch could ever get the gross when we needed something dangerous. We made crude jokes at guessing at how a couch could ever get that gross when we noticed something dangerous. A hush fell over the posse. Dude, it's on wheels. A couch on wheels. Okay. In our town, there's a street called 14th, and it's a boring name for a very exciting street. It's a long, moderately steep street with no light or stop signs from end to end. We'd ride our skateboard down it almost daily. Bombing 14th was something every youth did on their chosen set of wheels. Nobody's ever done it on a couch before, though. There was no discussion. We were going to bomb 14th on a couch. Or just going bomb 14th on a couch. What does going bomb mean? You ever hear that phrase before?
I don't know. I'm not a high school and know the hip slang.
I know, maybe a hip slang. It's probably like a rollerblading or maybe a skateboarding reference. Ricky buys the couch because he has the best allowance, and we proceed to push the thing 4.4 kilometers up the hill to the starting point. A cop stopped us along the way, wondering what the hell we were doing, and Joey plays it off and says that we're taking it up to his house to put it in the basement. Ricky whips out the receipt to prove it wasn't stolen, and we're back on the truck. Oh man, that's probably bad. That's probably bad that he proved that it was his couch to a police officer if they're planning to go roll down it. Did they all have helmets? Man, okay, too many questions. Joey plays it off while he's just taking it up to his house and put it on the what? Barely took a break at the top.
It's the law.
To put in the basement. Ricky whips out the receipt to prove that it wasn't stolen, and we're back on track. We're so hyped we barely took a break at the top. We hopped right on right away and started the ride. Our theory was that an old couch on tiny wheels shouldn't be able to build up much speed. One of the wheels didn't spin and the rest barely moved at all. We thought max speed would be 20 kilometers. Okay, an hour, no big deal. We underestimated gravity. The sofa fucking hauled ass. It was fast, and hot damn was it fun. We even had a bit of steering. How? When we all leaned to one side, it slowly drifted in that direction. Extra laughs were had when we noticed a trail of putrid smoke pouring from the seized up wheel. Maybe a minute of joy goes by before we remember the pitch is ahead. The pitch is a short but ridiculously steep bit of 14th. What is that?
No clue.
A steep bit of 14th. Nigga, every local skater has a crash story from the pitch. We tried dragging our feet, but the sofa doesn't slow down a bit. It's sailing on and we're along for the ride. I considered bailing off, but it was moving fast and the concrete didn't look too inviting. The couch enters the pitch, and like a degenerate version of a splash mountain, we let out a collective holy fuck. Near the bottom of the pitch is where the couch decides that it has had enough of being a hooligan plaything and hooks hard to the left. We slam full speed into the grass ditch and get some hurdling into a wooden fence. We bake through and wind up in a heap of 3 wannabe hippies. This remains of a section of a fence and a couch whose one corner was beginning to ignite from the heat of the seized wheel. Turns out the owner of the fence was a retired old man who was on his back deck smoking a pipe. He had a front row seat to the entire show. He was laughing so hard he could barely ask if we were okay. We were mostly okay, bruised and cut up all over, and luckily nothing major. We apologized a ton, offered to do pretty much anything as long as the guy didn't get us into shit, and he said, "I was young and stupid once. Well, maybe not quite as stupid as you three," but brought his truck around and we doggedly loaded the couch and busted fence bits into the back. Then he told us to get lost and try not to die from being idiots. What a cool old guy.
The old guy is the hero of the story.
Well, the old guy's gonna be the hero of the thread. I used to be one once. Oh boy. I broke into the town meeting room and used their microwave to cook food with my friends. Well, that's... Oh, this whole thread is Mad Lads. You've been there before, right? Mad Lads is like a place for like ironically edgy people.
Oh, okay, yeah, you took me here before.
Yeah, like, let's get a load of this guy. Let's see, what are the captions here? I just told the teacher I need to go to the bathroom. I ain't tell her which one. I'll go to the one at home. Okay. Okay. This girl is insane. Let's see what she's all about. Crazy night in, and look at that.
She's got a little straw in her Red Bull.
Man, it's got to be some kind of alcoholic beverage, surely.
Looks like a
And look at that tall can, too, with the straw. Crazy indeed, Stripes. We'll never hope to match those kinds of nights. Look at this guy. Do I look wild in this pic? Oh, that's right. I had a Pepsi before this pic was taken, and my eyes are pretty intense looking, with or without drinking a Pepsi. What is going on with the Pepsi?
What if he had 2 Pepsis?
Look, man, I don't like to think that guy wrote that. That would be insane. We're staying off of Mad Lads.
No, so bad.
My friends and I bought a live lobster, put it on a leash, and took it out on a 5-mile walk at 3 a.m.
Did that lobster die?
Lobsters will walk that far? 5 miles is a long distance. Let's see the comments here. I'd like to think that there's some sort of crustacean expert in the comments. This is normal where I'm from. Florida? Says somebody. That's rude. So did you just drag this lobster along for 5 miles, or did you slowly walk it at a lobster's pace for 5 miles? That's the thing. 5 miles. 5 miles. I think you guys are... Come on, man. It would be... This might as well be like a TIFU thread.
I'm worried about the lobster.
The lobster's dead by now, Stripes.
Do you think they took him for a long walk to get him lean and stuff, and then they cook him?
To get the lobster lean, you think like one long walk is gonna change the body mass index of a lobster, Stripes?
Well, they don't live as long as we do, so...
So their metabolisms must be so fast that like a lobster could lift 3 weights, you know what I mean? And then just have muscle by the end of the day. This chick's crazy. This Stripes is Stripes and on down. When I was 16, my parents let me drive their Ford Ranger. I tied a rope to the back of it, and promptly after buying a wheelchair at Goodwill, I had my friend drive, and it was smooth rolling, so I kept telling him to go faster. At about 35 miles per hour, the wheelchair hit gravel, and I flew out of the chair. Luckily, I had a bike helmet which cracked, and only my neck broke, not my skull. I tore myself up pretty good, and I've been in a wheelchair ever since. Oh no.
So wait, was it a spinal injury?
Holy crap.
Because if he's wheelchair bound, like, is he healing, or did he lose the ability to use his lower body?
Stripes, that's terrible. It's almost like ironic, though. He tied the wheelchair to the back of the car, had his friends drive it, and then freaking cracked his neck.
And now he's stuck in
the wheelchair. He's been in the wheelchair ever since. 2 people gilded that, man. That's not cool. What's he gonna do with gold in his wheelchair? Is it the same wheelchair? That's like another comment. Somebody's like, well, at least you had the wheelchair. Silver lining and all, you know what I mean? Glass half full, right, Stripes? Jeez. I said I wouldn't blow up the school because kids had been asking me if I would, and the cops even searched my room for explosives. I got indefinitely suspended from public school for thinking about it.
It's a thought crime. It's actually a thought crime.
It's a thought crime. To be fair enough, though, every single student in history of the world has thought about blowing up their school at least once. So if I recall correctly, the dude that wrote Calvin and Hobbes made a comment about that, but every kid fantasized about it. Well, according to wherever he's from, they could go to jail for this kind of crap, or be indefinitely suspended. The system works. Back when you didn't need a passport to drive into Canada, I wanted to go into the Windsor with my friends since the drinking age there is 19. Couldn't find a copy of my birth certificate anywhere. Decided to scan and edit my brother's since it's similar. Just had to change my name, sex, and 1 digit of the birth year and date. I am incredibly lucky that they only gave it a fast once over at the border, and I didn't end up a huge legal trouble. Without a doubt, the stupidest thing I've ever done. Well, I mean, what do they care? Especially Canada back in the day. Somebody said they are bored, sometimes stupid, sometimes they don't give a fuck. Years ago, I had to change my passport and needed a paper from my home country. I couldn't go there myself since I hadn't had a valid passport, and it'll be a one-way journey. So I've asked my brother to do it, and he did, and after weeks of waiting, he got the paper, only it was issued to him, not me. So fuck you, I brought it to the embassy anyway. And guess what? No one noticed. Different name, and I've got my new passport anyway. Yay! Somebody else says I put Vicks Vapor Rub in my eyes to irritate them so they'd get bloodshot and make me look like I was high. I was an idiot. Well, that's probably genuinely edgy. Am I wrong?
But, like, is he pretending to be high to get out of something? Like school? Because that ain't a good idea.
No, he's probably just trying to be high so that everybody thought he was high, and then he could get edge points, right? It's like, wait a minute. What's wrong with your eyes, man?
So,
I just smoked a little bit of that monkey.
So he gets the street cred without actually having to do weed?
Do weed. That's, you're sounding like them. You're sounding like them. It's like, hey man, why are your eyes so bloodshot? I just did some weed. I did it. I huffed that weed. I isolated myself in my room, stopped hanging out with my friends, and gave up my entire social life. Oh wow. All for my interest. All for my internet girlfriend. This shit lasted for over a year.
That sounds familiar.
I did something similar, but it wasn't for a significant other. I just faded from my real life friends or for internet friends, stayed in my room, and only left to use the bathroom and heat up instant food. Laid in bed all the time with my laptop always 3 feet away from the bed. Got angry at my family for coming in and talking to me, and I took my anger out on my family and it lasted for years. It might have been slightly depressed though, because it got worse later on. What? Is this a focus group or like a self-help, you know? This is like internet's... Well, yeah, you're right. All of Reddit is that. You hit that one on the nose, Stripes. It's almost a little too real. After her father won an age discrimination lawsuit, a teenager posted on Facebook all about how the family was going to spend the money, which violated the non-disclosure terms. She cost her dad $80,000. That's awesome.
Can you put a price on your daughter's love?
Can you put a price on people's stupidity? Yes, son. Because if you give me enough money, I could give it to somebody who probably kills people for less, right? And then you won't have to worry about it. Am I wrong? You're not wrong. I didn't say I'd pay somebody to kill somebody. I'm just saying, hey, people do that sort of thing for money. Somebody says technically it's the father who violated the non-disclosure terms by telling his daughter. Somebody else says, yeah, my dad blamed me for losing his stamp collection, but he gave it to me when I was 8. Your fault, Dad. What? Somebody says I jumped off a cliff because a girl dared me. So when your parents are all like, if some girl told you to jump off a cliff, the power of female dare is shockingly intoxicating. Mix that with feelings of being a teenager, and we don't have a hope in hell of being smart. Sorry, like, I'm changing. Can you hear it?
I can feel it.
Shut up, Stripes. I can feel it. Like I'll absorb you. When I used a China-made grappling hook from Amazon to climb an abandoned factory that was shut down for its chemical wastes. Somebody said, let me clarify. When I attempted to use a Chinese-made grappling hook. You know, when people see grappling hook on, you know, this guy made a TIFU by not testing the stability of a grappling hook. What an idiot. No, Jesus. What? No, I don't know what number we're on. Yes. What an idiot. Did he just leap downwards? This is genuinely the stupidest man in the world. Look, man. The mistake was using a watermelon. I stood on the 3. Oh my God, Stripes. This is why you just leave the links alone. Oh, that's the premiere. I saw it. I came to school. Oh my God. Look at these long ass things. Okay, here it is. When I used the China-made grappling hook from Amazon. So like, what do they think? That it's going to be like Just Cause or like a Batman grappling hook, and then they meet the real world. When I was 13, a friend and I met an adult woman in real life. What? When I was 13, a friend and I met an adult woman in real life that we met online, hoping for sex. It ended with us being chased out of a trailer park by 3 men with baseball bats and no sex.
Oh, okay, so they got catfish.
And somebody else says, "Tell me more." Was it love at first sight? You know the song? Summer after 8th grade, and I'm staying with my best friend for a week while my parents are on a romantic getaway. We discover AOL chat rooms and immediately start talking to strangers. And being 13 to 14 years old, we're talking a big sex game. Of course, both of us are virgins, and I hadn't even made out with a girl at this point. We start talking to the girl, Allie, who lives relatively close by.
Hold up. Are you reading a response or another one?
No, this is the guy elaborating on his story when somebody else was like, "Tell me more."
Okay.
Stripes isn't even looking at the computer anymore, and she's like expecting to understand everything. What's going on here?
Well, no, I'm just staring at you the whole time.
Stop looking at me.
Make you uncomfortable.
Yes, get out of here. What do you? I'm so tired of this, man. I will fart in your general direction, Stripes. Is that your fetish?
No, absolutely not.
Look, we're talking to this girl, Allie, who lives relatively close by. She's 18 and a rising senior at the high school in the next county over. We exchange tons of pictures and talk all about things we both want to do to her, most of which I'm sure is cringeworthy in and of itself. But we don't know any better. Oh, come on, girl. We don't know any better at this point. Eventually she wants to meet, and I should explain here that my friend and I are literally prepubescent. I'm not impressing anyone with my pants down at 13 years old, and I wouldn't know what to do in that situation. But being horny kids and seeing a girl want to meet us and touch our pee-pees gets us too excited to decline. We agree to meet at our local Walmart and get my friend's mom to drop us off under the pretense that we want to look at video games and play the store demos. I've never been more nervous and preparing to meet this girl, seeing as how 13-year-old me was convinced I was going to lose my virginity to her. We meet Allie, who in retrospect is not at all fazed that we're practically children. We make awkward small talk in the candy aisle, and I make some terrible jokes about Tootsie Roll Midgies being an offensive name for a candy, and that they should call Tootsie Rolls little people. Allie makes some comment like, "Is your dick a midgie?" and then grabs me by the crotch and pulls me in to kiss her. We make out in the Walmart aisle. How old is this lady? How old is this lady?
Who hurt you?
After we're done, my friend informs me that my eyes were open, which is weird. Allie takes this as an opportunity to kiss my friend, seeing as how he's the expert. She does so, then rates the two of us. She said we were equal, but that I used more lip than my friend and my friend used more tongue. This is probably more detail than you guys needed, but every moment of this day is burned into my brain. She asks us if we want to go back to her place to continue what we were doing. We say we do. She drives us about 10 minutes away into a trailer park in the bad part of town. We get there and she basically says that she's going to blow us. Who wants to go first? We both make up excuses as to why the other should go first. We're both nervous, but in this moment I realize I am absolutely not ready for anyone to interact with my pee-pee. We both say we're thirsty. She brings us water. We're talking, and eventually I run out of water. I'm nervously sipping from an empty cup, his sippy cup, and calls me out on it. Eventually, she gets to the point where she's saying, "Come on, are we doing this or not?" So I finally say, "No, I don't think so." She gets upset and starts asking if we're not attracted to her. This is where my brilliant 13-year-old mind, to this day, I can't quite understand why I thought this was a good idea, says, No, you're very attractive, but it's just that we know you've done this a lot before, and the thought of all of the dicks that you have been in your mouth before mine grosses me out." He said that. It was kind of true. And for some reason I thought this would be a polite way to let her down. I don't know either, but it was the wrong answer. She kicks us out of the trailer and calls her friend on the phone. I overhear her saying, "You need to get down here and kick these little freshmen's asses." She tells us that we should start running because her best friends will be coming from just a few trailers down to kick our asses. We don't need much more than that to take off, but we are 13 to 14 miles away from our home and essentially stranded and lost, and running in some random direction. We see behind us 3 guys who look like men to our newly teenage selves are chasing us, and one of them has a baseball bat. We do have a really decent head start on them and are pretty quick little dudes, but they're terrifying. We run and I panic and call my friend's mom. He is begging me not to and saying he'd rather deal with the ass beating than this his angry mother. Or my emergency use only super expensive every minute mid-2000s cell phone. I frantically yell, "I can't explain, but we are in a very dangerous situation and we need you to get here ASAP. We're passing the Ford dealership on Route 10. We are very lucky and still pretty far ahead of them, but they will not stop chasing us. Eventually they start closing the gap, but after, I don't know, around 8 minutes of running, my friend's mom swoops in on the side of the road. By the time I'm scrambling into the car, these guys are close enough for one of them to grab my leg and get my shoe off my foot. I managed to get inside and get the door closed, and these guys hit the car with the bat once, and we're off. Very, very luckily, my friend's mom is super understanding. We decide to tell her the whole God's honest truth because we're terrified. She's glad we didn't go through with anything and happy that we told her everything. She promises not to tell my mom because I would have been in way more trouble than my friend. She says we got lost taking a long walk, and that's why I used the cell phone. I still got in trouble over losing one of my shoes. Very funnily enough, my first class in high school was with 2 of the guys who chased us out of the trailer park. They didn't recognize me, and we became pretty close friends. By the time I told them that we had an encounter the previous summer, they laughed it off and called me a dumbass. What a great story, says someone. Is your dick a midgie? It's not cool, Stripes.
I think it is.
This is a story of come on.
What, thinking with your dick?
That was an adult lady and these were little kiddies. She's 18, they're 13 to 14.
Who hurt her? What brought her to this?
What do you mean, who hurt her? Who hurt these kids, Stripes?
I mean, what makes her think that this is okay?
Well, I don't know. Maybe she had daddy issues, you know what I'm talking about? Coming from a broken home. I came to school drunk. I used to be very shy, but drinking made me an extrovert, which made me feel better about myself. I drank way too much and threw up in class, and the guy next to me had vomit all over his t-shirt. It was so bad I passed out and woke up in the hospital. Wait. Well, I guess that's the end of that. These are lame. Where's the top one? I got caught shoplifting at the $1.99 glow-in-the-dark Dunkin' Yo-Yo when I was 15. Oh, this guy just dated himself. I remember when the last time yo-yos were gangster. And the store pressed charges. Stores do that for shoplifting? I thought you just get in trouble for shoplifting. What do you mean?
I guess he damaged the merchandise.
How does the store press charges, though? I don't understand. Like, I figure when you just get in trouble for shoplifting, you get in trouble for shoplifting. A store can, like, target a dude and make him pay more than the...
Didn't you put something in the oven?
Yeah, but it'll be done by the time we're done with this. Ended up having to do 10 hours of community service and write a 3-page essay on why stealing is wrong. Man, my whole family laughed at me so hard. Great. Do you want to go check on it, Stripes? No? If you don't, it's fine. I'll believe in you, though. If it is done, then just press the off button on everything, if you can. I went to the midget premiere at the last Lord of the Rings movie with some friends drunk on Jaeger and dressed as Gimli. I was the shortest of my friends. We got in a mock fight with a bunch of similarly dressed characters while in line, which turned into a real fight when our Legolas did some spinning bow attack and accidentally smacked a girl in their group's face. Oh, we get kicked out and didn't get to see the movie. I never told my dad for fear that he would never look at me the same. Well, I mean, he did get into a fight. This is the saddest story in here. My heart goes out to you. And my axe, says somebody. Lord of the Rings jokes, ladies and gentlemen. How are we not at the top of this? Is my real question. We don't even appear to be anywhere near the top of it. What are people talking about here? I stood on the roof of a 3-story building during a tornado, drunk off my dad's stash of Jack Daniels, screaming at the sky, "Is that the best you can do?" This is just getting edgy now. You turned it off for me? Thanks. My dad loves telling this story of when he was a kid, crammed in the backseat of his siblings, and his dad was driving parallel to a tornado. His mom was screaming, the kids were crying, and his dad was just pushing on next to this tornado, mumbling something about Korea, and everyone in his family being a bunch of Sallys.
The kids crying?
Stripes, a man was driving, keeping pace with a tornado.
He was chasing a tornado.
That's ridiculous, but his wife and kids were in the car. And apparently a friend's kid, because, come on now.
Is this really edgy teenage stories if their dads are dragging them into this?
It's pretty edgy. One time I drank a whole bottle of cough syrup in the grocery store bathroom to see what would happen. Security was waiting for me when I left the bathroom, and I spent the next hour handcuffed to a chair and hallucinating, with the security guards just laughing at me the whole time. They let me go and said what happened was punishment enough.
Why didn't he have Flaming Moe instead?
Oh, so I guess that's what they mean when they say press charges, is that they hold accountable? Because I guess you can get a slap on the wrist for shoplifting and be like, you never come here again, or something like that. But if they press charges when the police get involved. Maybe. Posted this before, but the off-road skateboard parasailing idea. When I was 17, we used to take our cars down to a disused field and slide them around in the mud like you do with your first car. Okay. We also used to tow each other behind the cars using rope stuff like sledges and dustbin lids. Okay. One day I decided to buy a dirt board, like an off-road skateboard, like this one. And we decided that we could probably parasail behind the cars if we built up a bit of speed and made a parachute. So we did. We got a rectangular bit of tarpaulin.
What's that?
Tarpaulin? Look, I'm guessing it's just like the lid of something. Tied bits of rope through the metal tanglets in each corner and tied the other end of the bits of rope to a rucksack. We then cut a hole in the middle of because that was what the parachute has, so this is what'll make it work. And I strapped myself into the dirt board, tied a rope around my waist, and off we went. We hit about 30 miles an hour before I threw the parachute, and the wind caught me and it lifted me up about 10 feet into the air before violently slamming me back to earth. The impact, Stripes, broke 4 ribs, and being dragged along by the car after hurt like fuck. In hindsight, this was never realistically going to work. Somebody else says, I'm 23 and now I kinda wanna try this. Better don body armor and a helmet first. Look, man, we're doing this. We're almost ready, Stripes. Are you excited?
For the Popeyes?
What do you mean? No, for, what, you want a Popeye?
No.
So this is the top one. So we did it. I used the 3-man slingshot to blast an orange at a girl's house. It went through the window.
Oh.
Somebody says I once shoved a mushy orange into a propane-powered potato cannon because I was out of potatoes. All I got was a very aggressive blast of fine orange mist. Sounds very refreshing, says somebody.
What's a potato blaster?
A potato blaster, I think, is just a cannon that people use to, like, shoot potatoes.
Why?
Why not?
Wanna shoot potatoes?
I mean, I guess the idea is that potatoes, like, are hard but not hard enough. I mean, if you got hit with a potato out of a potato can, it probably wouldn't be funny.
I mean, I'd be bruised up.
Yeah, but you know, it's like a non-lethal cannon. It's a potato. Somebody says I did that, but we launched a potato down the street and it broke some random guy's windshield. The mistake was not using a watermelon. A slingshot and a watermelon should never go together after that amazing race episode. Race?
Think long and hard. Do what you gotta do to make it go right into that.
Oh, The Amazing Race, a show I never watched.
Now, please, just focus. I'm not giving up. I'm just getting frustrated.
Isn't this the one where she like hits herself in the face?
Sister, you were super close. Right in the kisser.
I think it's gonna be good. Believe in yourself, Stripes. Yes. Oh. Now that's footage, Stripes. And they just keep playing it.
Broken her teeth.
Was she fine?
Are you okay?
I can't feel my face.
Nah, she's got like a man's face. She'll be alright.
Okay, so what do we do now?
You have to finish.
What?
There's no out.
I can't even see straight.
These are.
They don't call it amazing race for nothing.
Somebody said you have to finish. She hit something. That should be enough. Jesus Christ. Oh, Stripes. What are we gonna do? Why won't they fix Pokemon Go, man?
What's wrong with Pokemon Go? I've been having fun.
You don't know nothing. You're the minority, is what the subreddit would say. Hey, look, it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Pupper.
You look so sad.
Because he doesn't understand why any of this is happening to him. I like the upside down, like, you know,
It's a food tray.
the upside down food tray. So they call him Dogatello.
But no.
Look, there's gotta be like pictures of funnier dogs inside this Dogatello, Leonardog, Barcolangelo, and Raphael. That's not okay. Yeah, somebody said his eyes speak of betrayal. Why you do this? Oh my god, please give him pizza and film it. This is still my favorite. I'm surprised this isn't affecting Stripe. She's just looking at this like, come on, man. That's a dog's butt. Okay, good. We're done. And what a enthralling list it was. So, guys, catch us during the other stream. Don't hurt yourselves. And don't try to be edgy. Freaking teens. Wait, should I put something on the wish list?
Nah.
Like, what about a potato?
A potato launcher?
I don't want a potato launcher. I just want a potato. I'll put a potato on the wish list. See you guys later.